Hey guys, it's Lee in a fishbowl. How are you guys? I just decided I just finished doing a makeup review. I don't do those very often, but I went to 2 stores today and bought a bunch of stuff. So anyway, I'm saying that to preface the fact that I have on 2 different eye thingies right now, and it's very subtle. I don't know if you can notice it, but this eye is like definitely darker than that eye, so I hope that doesn't bother you guys. But anyway, I was in here, it was quiet, I was dressed, I had on makeup, and so I'm taking this opportunity to do an update. People have been asking, and so I just wanted to kind of give everybody an update. It's been a while. Well, I couldn't believe when I looked at my YouTube channel and looked at my last video, it was like November 10th. And so here it is. What is this? November 27th? December 27th. So I'm so sorry I have not been better about updating you. We're kind of like, on a break right now. So that's probably one of the main reasons why I didn't update really anything major until now. So anyway, so I'm sorry, I'm getting comfortable here. I'm taking off my jewelry. So here's where we stand. We have done blood work with the new reproductive endocrinologist, and I have gotten some of the results back. So I'm going to tell you what we know so far. We are not trying right now, okay? And I'll tell you why in a minute. So that's kind of why this is all just kind of slow going, and I'm just not really in a hurry, really, with any of it, because we've got time to kill. And the reason we have time to kill is because my husband, he had surgery. If you follow me on Facebook, then you know that he had a hernia that has been driving him nuts for several years. He's had it since he was 19. He's 40. So, yeah, that's a long time, 21 years. And it's progressively gotten worse over the years, probably because he does a lot more physical work than when he was younger. I don't know. And because he's getting older, too. But he was getting the Christmas float all prepared for our annual Christmas parade for our church float, and he lifted some things and he built a huge float. It's beautiful. I'll try to remember to put a picture in. He lifted some things and he hurt himself pretty badly, and I think he just kind of exasperated the whole hernia thing. Went to the doctor. The doctor said, "You need surgery now." And so he went on a Tuesday, and he had surgery on a Friday, and it was the Friday previous to the week leading up to Christmas. So because it had been a little over a week when Christmas hit. So long story short, we just decided to jump on it and do it now, because otherwise it would be having to wait till after Disney. We're leaving to go to Disney World on the 10th, and so yeah, we just went on and did it. The recovery has not been nearly as bad as he thought it was going to be, although it's been painful at times. But obviously that puts trying on hold for a little bit, since it was down in the groin area. So we are on hold there anyway. So that just kind of bought us some time with all this testing, and it kind of helped take the pressure off of me, because it's really nothing we can do until he's well anyway. So back to my appointments. I have not met with the reproductive endocrinologist since that first meeting that I talked about in my last update. I have seen the nurse several times to have blood work, ultrasounds, and so on. So I was pulling up my fertility friend. I should have already done that. Basically, right before Thanksgiving, she called me and said that she had some information from my genetic testing, and that was, look at here. I'm sorry. Oh. Fertility Friends updated their app, and it was like, you have a message. I'm like, I've never had that on the app before. But anyway, all it was them telling me I'm about to expire and I got to renew. So anyway, I rambled way too much, and I apologize for that. She called and she said that they had found some very interesting stuff on my repeat loss panel. Now, let me back up. And I said this in my last video, my last RE that I was with for over 3 years, who is supposed to be the expert in this area, and he may be in some ways, but he has neglected to do a very important test on me, and he said that he did do it. I was told by that doctor and the nurses there that that a RLP, a repeat loss panel, had been done on me. When they all transferred all the paperwork over to this new doctor, they never could find it, and we really honestly thought, well, maybe it was just not included in the paperwork when it was transferred. That's how sure I was that we had had all this done. Because remember, I'm on my 6th miscarriage. Okay, 5 of them are medically written down, documented, all that. With the 5th one being the one in September. But there was also one that was a chemical that we didn't even go in for a beta test for. It kind of came and went over a weekend, and so it was just like, forget it. And I just, we quit the progesterone, and I started to bleed, and that was the end of that one. So we never even really had that one documented through lab work. So anyway, long story short, you would think that even after 3 is technically when doctors do it, but after the 4th being the ectopic in December, which is technically the 5th of last year, that they would have done that. He claimed he told me 2 years ago that it had been done. And when the results came back, everything was normal. Okay. So I just really chalked that up to, okay, nothing on the repeat loss panel was an issue. And we really never went any further with it. That was also at the time they did my AMH, and it was like 0.46, which was pretty bad news. So that kind of just took my focus. And we just kind of went with the whole, well, it's egg quality that's causing these miscarriages. So when the nurse called me right before Thanksgiving, this new nurse, she said, we found something that is most definitely could be contributing to your losses. And it's called MTHFR. There's a long name for it. And I think what I'll do is a video specifically on MTHFR because I don't want to get into all of it now. But basically, it's one of the most common causes for miscarriage. And it's probably like the reason that people do a repeat loss panel, one of the major things they test for. And not only do I have it, but I have the most severe form of it, which is called homozygous for the C6778, whatever type. So in layman's terms and real quick, it just means that I cannot absorb and what's the word? You use something and you turn it into whatever you need, okay? B vitamins, okay? That includes folic acid. It also includes all your Bs, B12, B6, everything. And what the B vitamin is responsible for is the homeostasis of the body, the regulation of everything in your body working correctly. And there's a huge trickle-down effect to having that issue. It also is a clotting issue. So I should have been on, after my miscarriages and my repeat loss panel that the first RE supposedly did on me, that should have shown up. And I now know, number one, that they probably never did the test on me and they told me a lie. Or they just have a different test. I don't know. I will never know the answer to that. I'm not even bothered with that doctor. But I do know now that that's a huge thing. There's pretty simple ways to take care of it through taking blood thinners or a baby aspirin, which I did start a baby aspirin, and through methylated forms of vitamin B vitamins. So I'm now taking a metformin, which is a methylated folate, and I'm also taking a methylated B12 and some other things. I'll do a whole nother video on that, but that's huge. It causes implantation failure. It can cause me to throw clots, which now makes me think maybe my first miscarriage was not genetic. Maybe it was that I threw a clot into my umbilical cord and lost the baby. And there's no way to ever know the answer to that. So anyway, that's crazy. but it's huge. It's a huge, huge, huge piece of the puzzle in my fertility journey. The bad part is, for the last 2.5 years, I've wasted time in all of these attempts and these extra miscarriages could have been prevented. Now, granted, this past one in September was genetically wrong. It was trisomy 16. It was not viable. So even with blood thinners and the right vitamins, it probably wouldn't have made it wouldn't have made a difference. But with the others, those chemicals, it makes you wonder. So that's that. The second thing was something on my genetics test came back. I tested positive for something called alpha thalassemia. ALPHA. That's the first word, alpha. And then the second word is thalassemia is THALASSEMIA. I think that's right. Thalassemia. And it's a blood issue, like an anemic type issue. I have the mildest form of that, thank goodness. And the only thing that would cause an issue with pregnancy would be if my husband is a carrier. So we have had him tested and have not gotten those results yet, but should get them pretty soon. If he is a carrier, with me being a carrier, then 1 in 4 chance that we could have a child with severe alpha thalassemia, which could be stillborn, miscarriage, that kind of thing. So that will all come back soon too. So if that's the case, I hope that he's not a carrier. Quite honestly, I hope that what we're dealing with is just the MTHFR in that realm of issues. The other negative news I got was that my AMH level is now at 0.16. If you don't know anything about AMH, it should be 2 or above. 0.46 was a death sentence 2 years ago. 0.16 is bad. But the thing is, with having the MTHFR, the more I'm reading about it, is that because your body has not been working properly, because you're not using the vitamins that you need to have the proper running of your body, that is a trickle-down effect to your egg quality. So there is some hope that with some proper nutrition now that I'm getting through these methylated vitamins, that my egg quality could improve. The thing that makes me a bit leery to really, yes, I'm worried about the AMH. I am. But I do know that just with my IUIs in the last year and a half, that I still produce 2 or 3 good follicles with my Clomid or my injectables. Never got pregnant, so maybe the egg quality's not great, but I am producing follicles. And I have a antral follicle count of about 8 to 10, so 4 or 5 on each side, which is not the end of the world. It's not as great as it needs to be. It's kind of in the middle. It's not as bad as having the 0.16 AMH alone. You have to kind of look at your antral follicle count, which is your follicle count before you start producing follicles in a cycle, and kind of your resting follicles, and your AMH. You look at all of it together, and your estrogen and all that, and then you kind of say, okay, this is a good indicator of how I will do with injectables for an IUI or IVF. So it's not the end of the world. There are people with that kind of number who go on to get pregnant and have children, but it certainly is an indicator of my age. I am 39. So yeah, that's where we are. That's my update. I did not mean for this to go over 10 minutes, but I'm right now. Let me go over this. Since we're at 14 minutes, to see if I can squeeze this in. While we were over Thanksgiving week, when we were gone, I had the longest menstrual cycle I've ever had. My period started on November 3rd. Remember, I think y'all remember me saying my anniversary. Ooh, yippee me, I got Aunt Flo. It was my first post-ANC Aunt Flo, and it started on November 3rd, and it ended November 28th. It was a 25-day bleed, and when I say bleeding, not spotting, bleeding. The majority, if you want to see my chart, this is so funny. And it's not funny. It's really annoying. Let's see if I can get you to... Can you see my chart? Hang on. Boy, that fills up the screen. Yeah, that's my chart. Can you see that? Is that not ridiculous? All of that's pink, and it's like light, medium, and heavy. Not spotting. Until I finally said, I've had enough of this. The nurse gave me, the nurse talked to the doctor, and the doctor gave me S-Trace, which is estradiol, to take. And I took it for 7 days, and my bleeding stopped on the 3rd day of that pill. Since then, I've spotted on and off. And then I thought I was starting my period on the 17th of December. I had 1 day of flow, and it was over. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. I'm sure it could be a multitude of things. One, estradiol can sometimes cause a cyst, so maybe I have a cyst, and so my body is just freaking out. I'm going to contact the RA and go in for an ultrasound next week, hopefully. The other thing is, because of the amount of bleeding I had last cycle, maybe this on the 17th of December when I did bleed, that was my period, but because I had bled so much before and it was such a short amount of time between when I stopped bleeding, I think it was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days versus usually I have a 28-day cycle. There was 18 days between the end of that one bleeding cycle and the beginning of what was supposed to be a new cycle, which was just that 1 day bleed on December 17th. But what I'm thinking is maybe my lining just didn't have a lot of time to build up, and so really there just wasn't a lot to bleed. That's gross, but that's my theory. So yeah, so that's where we are. I'm spotting still, but I'm having like ovulation symptoms. I don't know. I don't have any ovulation tests, and really, since we're not trying right now, I'm just kind of giving my body time to kind of do its thing and see what it's going to do, and hopefully it will kind of just kick back into regular gear soon, and hopefully by maybe February when we start trying again, things will be better. I'll keep you posted on that, but now we're at 17 minutes, and I need to say goodbye because this is way longer than it should have been, and if you've gotten this far with me, I certainly appreciate it. So yeah, that's it. I will post videos on the MTHFR soon for those of you who are interested in that, and that will do it. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, and I promise to update soon again. I hate that I was so long doing this one, but anyway, God bless. See you later. Bye.